In the quiet town of Ridgefield, a seemingly ordinary college dormitory harbored a dark secret. A young student named Jake had recently moved into room 213, unaware that his life was about to take a terrifying turn. As the days passed, Jake and his dorm mates began experiencing the same haunting nightmares. They would find themselves trapped in a desolate, abandoned building, pursued by an ominous figure shrouded in darkness. The air was thick with tension, and the chilling echoes of footsteps seemed to follow them at every turn. Night after night, the dreams escalated in horror. The mysterious figure became more defined, revealing a face twisted with malevolence. It spoke in a sinister whisper, foretelling of doom and despair. Jake and his dorm mates were unable to escape the nightmarish realm, waking up in cold sweats, haunted by the lingering fear. As the group compared notes, they discovered a shocking connection. They had all moved into the dormitory after the sudden disappearance of its previous occupants. Rumors circulated about a dark presence that lingered within the walls, but none took it seriously until now. Determined to unravel the mystery, Jake delved into the history of the dormitory. He uncovered a chilling tale of a tragic event that occurred years ago, involving a malevolent entity seeking vengeance. The entity, it seemed, had returned to torment those who dared to reside within its domain. The nightmares intensified, blurring the lines between dream and reality. Jake and his dorm mates found themselves sleep-deprived, tormented by both the waking world and the malevolent force within their dreams. As the group struggled to confront the entity, they realized that breaking the curse required facing their deepest fears. Each night, they ventured into the nightmare realm, battling the malevolent force that sought to consume them. The dormitory, once a place of learning, had transformed into a battleground between the living and the vengeful entity. The nightmares persisted, leaving Jake and his dorm mates to wonder if they could ever escape the clutches of the malevolent force that had claimed the dormitory as its own. As the nights grew darker, Jake and his dorm mates faced an uphill battle against the malevolent force that had taken residence in their dreams. Each confrontation in the nightmare realm left them more drained, both mentally and physically. One evening, after a particularly harrowing nightmare, Jake discovered an old journal hidden in the dusty attic of the dormitory. The journal belonged to a former student who had experienced similar night terrors years ago. It detailed rituals and incantations aimed at banishing the vengeful entity. Determined to put an end to the nightmares, Jake gathered his dorm mates. They decided to perform the rituals outlined in the journal, hoping it would break the malevolent force's hold on their dreams. The atmosphere in the dormitory that night was thick with anticipation as they lit candles and chanted incantations. As the ritual reached its climax, the room seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. Shadows danced on the walls, and an otherworldly chill filled the air. Suddenly, the dormitory plunged into darkness. Whispers echoed through the halls, and the group felt a presence closing in on them. The ritual had stirred something ancient and furious. Just as panic threatened to engulf them, a blinding light erupted from the center of the room. The malevolent force shrieked and recoiled, its form dissipating like smoke. The nightmares ceased, leaving the dormitory in an eerie silence. Relieved but exhausted, Jake and his dorm mates realized they had successfully banished the vengeful entity from their dreams. The once haunted dormitory felt lighter, as if a heavy burden had been lifted. In the following days, life returned to normal for Jake and his dorm mates. The nightmares became a distant memory, and the dormitory's dark past seemed to fade away. They never spoke of the ritual again, silently agreeing to leave the malevolent force behind. Yet, as Jake stared out of his dormitory window one night, he couldn't shake the feeling that the shadows held secrets untold. The malevolent force may have been banished, but the dormitory's walls whispered of forgotten tales, a reminder that some nightmares linger, even in the light of day. Years passed, and Jake successfully graduated from college. He had built a new life, married his college sweetheart, Emma, and together they welcomed a beautiful baby into their lives. The once haunted dormitory was now a distant memory, buried beneath the joyous moments of family life. However, The shadows of the past had not completely dissipated. One fateful night, as Jake and Emma slept peacefully, the malevolent force that had haunted the dormitory for generations returned. This time, its sights were set on something far more precious, their innocent child. As the clock struck midnight, the room filled with an unnatural chill. Jake and Emma were abruptly awakened by a series of strange noises. Panicking, they rushed to their baby's room, only to find an open window and an empty crib. Fear gripped their hearts as they realized the malevolent force had returned to claim their child. Determined to rescue their baby, Jake and Emma embarked on a desperate quest to unravel the mysteries of the past. Guided by the journal that had once helped banish the malevolent force, they retraced the steps of their college days. Dormitory hallways that were once filled with laughter and camaraderie now echoed with foreboding whispers. The old rituals and incantations were their only hope of confronting the malevolent force once more. Late into the night, Jake and Emma stood in the center of the dormitory, surrounded by flickering candlelight. The air grew heavy as they chanted the incantations, desperately hoping to break the force's grip on their child. Suddenly, the room trembled, and shadows writhed along the walls. The malevolent force materialized, more furious than ever. It taunted them with ghostly whispers and threatened to drag their child into the abyss. In the midst of the struggle, a blinding light enveloped the room. The malevolent force screeched in agony as the rituals took effect. The dormitory shook and the force dissipated, leaving behind an eerie silence. Exhausted but relieved, Jake and Emma rushed to their child's room. Miraculously, the baby lay peacefully in the crib, unharmed. The malevolent force had been banished once again. As dawn broke, the once haunted dormitory seemed to sigh in relief. Jake, Emma, and their child emerged from the ordeal stronger, their bond deepened by the shared struggle against the shadows of the past. Yet, as they left the dormitory for the last time, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that some mysteries were meant to remain buried. The malevolent force may have retreated, but the echoes of its whispers lingered, a reminder that darkness and light were forever entwined in the tapestry of their lives. Disturbed by the traumatic events and driven by an unsettling feeling, Emma delved into Jake's past. Late nights were spent scouring old journals, dusty archives, and faded photographs. She felt a growing suspicion that the malevolent force, once thought banished, had a more intimate connection to Jake than they could have imagined. Her investigations led her to an ancient family curse that haunted the bloodline for generations. It seemed that Jake's ancestors had, unknowingly, awakened a dark entity through forbidden rituals. The entity had attached itself to Jake, lying dormant until triggered by the rituals performed in the college dormitory. Terrified by the revelation, Emma confronted Jake about his family's dark secret. At first, he dismissed it as mere superstition, but as the evidence mounted, he could no longer deny the truth. The malevolent force that had terrorized their lives was, in fact, a part of him. Haunted by guilt and a sense of responsibility, Jake vowed to find a way to sever the connection to the malevolent force. Emma, torn between fear and love, stood by him, determined to protect their family. Together, they sought the guidance of an elderly occultist who had experience with ancient curses. The occultist revealed that the only way to break the curse was for Jake to confront the malevolent force within himself, face the sins of his ancestors, and willingly sacrifice a part of his own dark soul. The journey to break the curse was treacherous. Jake underwent harrowing trials within the nightmare realm, reliving the horrors of his family's past. The malevolent force, now personified by shadows that whispered his deepest fears, fought back ferociously. Emma, unable to physically assist Jake in the otherworldly battles, provided unwavering emotional support. She reminded him of the love, joy, and innocence they had built together, a light that could dispel even the darkest shadows. In a climactic confrontation, Jake faced the malevolent force head-on. The shadows recoiled, and a blinding light enveloped him. With a deafening scream, the malevolent force was torn away, leaving Jake exhausted but free. As the shadows dissipated, Jake emerged from the nightmare realm forever changed. The curse that had plagued his family for generations was finally broken. With Emma by his side, they returned to their normal lives, leaving the haunted past behind. The once malevolent force, now a distant memory, served as a reminder of the fragility of darkness and the resilience of light. Jake and Emma, forever bound by the trials they overcame, embraced a new beginning, a life free from the shadows that had threatened to consume them.